What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down why NIO is up over 6% for the day again, and why this thing does have a lot of potential to continue to squeeze. Now, before I break anything down about why that is, what data is coming out for tomorrow, and what the news data and technicals are telling us about both NIO and the markets, I have to mention a couple of things real quick before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share or a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends tomorrow, so make sure you check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is up 6.41% for the day again. This is the second day in a row it's up over 6%, and this thing is trying to push up very, very hard. It's up over 12% in just 2 days. And this thing, once again, is still looking strong. But the real question is it going to continue to just push up, especially for tomorrow, or is NIO going to cool off a bit tomorrow first and then continue from there? Well, I'm going to give you guys the answers to that. But first, I have to talk about some data. We have PCE data coming out for tomorrow. I just want to remind everyone about that. 1 hour before the market opens. This is very important. We have core coming out, and it's expected to be about 4.7% year over year, with PCE alone being about 5.1%. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to look, but we want this thing to be very close to the forecast, if not lower. And the last time, CPI came out just a couple of weeks ago, CPI for the month of February was actually very, very tame. It wasn't that horrible, but it was also a little bit high in some different sectors. We were up about 0.4% month over month. And also, if you look at the year over year chart, this is the 12-month percentage change. It still is a little bit lower. We're still at around 6% overall, with core actually being lower. So once again, CPI was a little high, but it wasn't too horrible. And at the same time, for PCE, in my opinion, it's probably not going to be extremely high. It's probably going to be very close to the forecast, maybe not too horrible. So now what's going to happen is this is just an excuse, okay? This data is going to be used as an excuse to move the markets like crazy, and there's going to be a big battle tomorrow. If you look at SPY, we have about, this is like almost 800,000 calls in total expiring tomorrow. And that's about, I believe, over 1.8 million, almost 1.9 million puts expiring tomorrow in total. That's 2.37 as the put to call ratio, and also $397 is max pain. Now, this is important because we have so many puts expiring. The majority of options are puts. The short sellers, the people that own these puts, are going to try to smack the markets down. However, the market makers are going to try to smack the markets up. They're going to try to squeeze the markets and destroy the shorts, squeeze us to the moon. It's going to be a big battle. And so far, if you look at what happened this week, the market's continuing to remain above max pain and actually squeeze shorts. We only had 5,000 puts in the money. 261,000 puts ended up out of the money for today. Shorts got annihilated, and we might see the same thing tomorrow. Now, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I believe the odds right now are really in the favor of the market makers and the bulls. It is heavily favoring them, but please be prepared for anything because of PC that's coming out. Now, as far as NIO goes, it's actually moving with a lot of these consumer discretionaries because of the fact that there's a lot of hype about the next deliveries report. The deliveries are coming out in just a couple of days, so when NIO reports this, we might see a big move as there are very high expectations now set by the CEO. NIO was also getting hit with some very bullish news. For once, it's actually helping the share price, and it's been a long time. So I want to let you guys know that there were times where NIO was getting good news and the share price kept dropping. That's because the whole market was dropping. But now that the market's performance has improved, NIO is not just improving, but it's starting to squeeze. I want you guys to think about what's going to happen when the whole stock market actually starts recovering. We actually see the market squeeze and we start to see the market approaching all-time highs again. Just imagine that in your head. What is NIO going to do when most of the news that's been coming out for the past year has been good? The majority of the news, right? There was some bad news with the last earnings because of their margins, but that was just one piece of news compared to so many other bullish catalysts. And I'm trying to tell you, I believe that when the market recovers, when we start to see the squeeze for the market, the everything squeeze, NIO is going to be getting days like this every day: 6%, 5%, 4%, 10%, 20%. Crazy days every day like this. When this thing starts squeezing, we're just getting a taste of it right now. Now, is the market about to squeeze to all time highs? No, I don't think that we're getting close to that, in my opinion. But what I'm trying to say is there is going to be a crash coming to the markets most likely later on. Maybe it's going to take some time by like May, June, July, who knows when. As of right now, I don't want to talk about the crash because the market is looking bullish. The market's holding up so far, right? And that's why I'm just not as focused on that for the time being. I'm just talking about what the charts are telling us. I've been telling you guys the market's looking more bullish. And what is SPY doing? It just ripped again. So has NIO. Now, we have 404 as a very key resistance. I don't know how we're going to open because of PCE. We could gap down, but if that happens, as long as this thing holds 400, we have the potential to eventually try to retest 404. And if we break it, 406 could still come. The QQQ broke its high from, I think this was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, where this thing hit this 315 area. This thing is still breaking the highs and it wants to keep going. We did close around 315. If we could get another big pump and we actually break out of this like chop zone, this thing has the potential to go all the way up to 318. That could help NIO big time. What's good about NIO is we have good volume, 65 million in volume, well above the average volume. That's good for NIO. We're getting buying pressure. We're seeing some shorts covering. We're starting to see some hedging as well as everyone's getting ready for deliveries that are coming out in just a couple of days. And on top of that, I want to note that NIO's short volume is starting to drop. We're starting to see shorts get squeezed. We're starting to see less shorting going on for NIO as a whole. And the volume is seeing more buying pressure in total. It's looking very healthy now. Look at the price price ratio. I told you all this thing is going to bounce. This thing is going to jump. We got the jump finally, which means NIO is outperforming the market yet again. This is a very good sign so far. In order for this to maintain, we need a good deliveries report in the next couple of days. We need it. If we fail, this thing is just going to come crashing down. But if we get a good deliveries, this thing could squeeze even higher and we're going to see this thing pop even more, which means NIO's share price could start to soar even higher. We just need a good report over the next couple of days to continue this rally. But for tomorrow, I think a lot of people are getting ready. We may see many tech stocks continue to rise, consumer discretionaries continue to rise. This could help NIO too. For Fridays, NIO tends to be green 53% of the time. And as far as the short interest goes, it's been downtrending a bit. We're actually not seeing as many shorts being not shorts being created or NIO shares being shorted on a day-to-day basis. So that is another good sign. So a lot of things are in NIO's favor right now. If you're bearish on NIO, I just want to note both the bearish and bullish cases just in case bad news comes. And, it's always important to be prepared for it. If NIO breaks down, this thing is most likely going to come all the way down to 10. If we fell at 10, there's a gap down to about 9.8. If we're bullish, this thing is going to retest 10.75. If NIO could hold 10.75 or break above it, it's going to fight for 11. We have some resistance here between 10.75 and 11. If she breaks past 11, there's going to be 11.2 for a gap fill, followed by 11.5. We could see that happen if we get a good, a decent CPI report and a good performance from the market tomorrow. My guess is, though, we might see the market gap down a bit since we pumped at the end of the day. We might gap a little lower, so we might see NIO open up around like 10.2 or something. And then it's probably going to get a really nice bounce, intraday bounce, and start pushing again and fight for 10.75 to 11. It might even break above 11. It is still very possible if we get another pump. I believe Tesla is primed to pump, so I think this might help NIO. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing in the low 11s tomorrow. It might get to 11.2, maybe a little higher. I think NIO is going to achieve it and close somewhere close to 11, maybe a little lower or above it, somewhere around 11. Very, very high tends to 11, somewhere around there. I'm seeing NIO close there. And I think NIO is going to have another green day, in my opinion. Now, once again, I went over the bearish possibility. Be prepared for that just in case. But like I said, the odds are in NIO's favor. It's looking good. It's looking strong. We're not seeing as much shorting. The short volume is shifting. We're getting, a stronger amount of strength compared to the market. It's looking good. Let's hope this continues. And after this Friday ends, let's hope for some good numbers for NIO, because this thing is going to explode if we get some very, very good delivery numbers. All right. So thank you all so much for listening. Delivery numbers come out in the very beginning of April, usually the 1st through the 3rd, typically around that period. Usually it's going to be the first day for NIO, because NIO is a little bit ahead of the USA, because in China, they're very close to April already in China. They're a little bit ahead of us. So it may come a little earlier for NIO, maybe by, I don't know, maybe by April 1st in the USA, maybe a little bit later, but it's coming very soon. Anyways, thank you for listening. NIO to the moon. Long term is very, very bright, obviously. And peace out.